up, guys? Welcome back to One Lap Down Moto X podcast. I'm Jesse, one of your hosts, alongside with me, Shane Jewell, co-host. And hey, we appreciate it so far. Seen a lot of love and support. We thank you. Help us grow it. Real quick, I'm gonna give it to Shane for sponsors.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This week, so far, we got the same sponsors as always. We want to thank Dollar Cycles for all their support, Optimum Power Sports, Cowtown Promotions, and hey, Dirt Lab is still running that promo code One Lap Down, so check them out for 15% off. They'll hook you up, and they got good quality graphics. Run them on all our bikes. I know you run them on all yours as well.
Yep.
We got to thank those guys down there for all they're doing for us. And Jesse, we got a hell of a show this week. I think we got a doozy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do our best. Still keep it civil and mellow. Best we can.
We'll try our best.
Well, let me say that the best you can.
The best I can. Yeah. Hey, man, dude, it's been a crazy few weeks. I know we had planned on having, maybe a little special guest from a little bit higher up on the amateur ranks, but after all that went down this past weekend, I'm kind of glad we're, just me and you were throwing this out there. We maybe can kind of control ourselves a little bit after all the drama happened this weekend. And, we dropped the podcast, I guess you want to call it the 10-minute segment about Matt Walker's place closing down. And I know we got a lot of views from that. I was really tickled with that. I think we're over 1,000 views in 24 hours already.
Yeah, so I got and this is one thing we'll take over is on our views. Our very first video was 750 views 13 days ago. The lap number 2 with Jordan Fancher is 439 views 6 days ago, and then our Moto X compound is just north of 1,000 views in one day. So the point on that is I think our second episode was too long. It was a good one, but I think it was 2 hours was too long. I know it's hard to get all that, squeeze all that in time. So I guess what I'm getting at is y'all have done pretty good with like our Facebook on a little bit of comments, the shares, all the likes and everything like that. We're just asking for more feedback. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what we do right, wrong. We just need more feedback because, like I said, obviously the lap number 2 being 2 hours long, that's evident in itself that it's just too long. Obviously, when a 10-minute video hits 1,000 in one day, which it was big news, but I felt like with us having Jordan on, the face of Alabama, it would have, I guess we expect a little more, but we're still getting more than I ever expected.
Yeah, still in the baby steps.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm tickled with it so far. We last week we started on our 2-part episode. We were going to talk about all the classifications of the big bikes, of course. Little bike episode we'll get to that down the road. Last week we talked about part 1 with C and D class. We kind of went through a rundown with all that and what makes a C rider, what makes a D rider. I know this week you wanted to touch on the A and B classes. I know we've got several topics within topics that that you want to talk about with that and some of the points have changed throughout the years. When you and I were coming up through the A and B classes, or I ran a couple years toward the end there. You moved up a little bit before I did. But how different it's been, and how do we grow that, and how do we get the payouts where they need to be, or where we feel like they need to be, and some ideas we can bounce around off each other to figure out what. And I know people comment like this, and I know you have and I also have this. The 50 classes bring the money. The 50 classes bring the money as far as they bring grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle.
On top of that, the 50 class, you got kids riding 2 and 3 classes,
correct.
Sometimes 4, depending on eligibility, where, your big bikes some of your guys are only limited to 2 classes.
2 classes. But here's what I wanted to get at. Like, how do we get that? For me, I care, and don't get me wrong about this. I watch my son's race. Don't get me wrong. I'm out there cheering, and I keep up with the other 50 classes. But when I go to spectate a race, when's pro class? When's the A class? How do we
Who's not?
I know.
Who's not? You know what I mean? But that's one of the things. I'm just gonna be honest with you. All right, hang on. Let me just start over. Let's go. Let's just hop into the AB real quick before we get on that subject. So,
sure.
AB classifications. Like you said, we went over the CD last week and what makes C, what makes D. Now let's talk about what makes B, what makes A. You know what I mean? So obviously, you go Loretta's in C class, you're automatically B.
Automatically B. It
I
doesn't
know
matter what class past. I want to say past 4 to 6. I think if you go in 7 to 8 and above, I could be wrong. It could be 65, 70.
Well, it used to be the 50 class. If you went to Loretta's in 50, 78, 65, 85, youth, schoolboy, anything to that nature, you were not allowed to run C.
Correct. And that's still the same.
Okay. So obviously that's been a rule for years.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that rule?
No.
It's gray area, right?
Gray area on this, and I'm going to throw out one of our own. I think we've talked about him before in an episode. Holt Kennedy, great rider, great kid, great family. He qualified in 125C this year. And of course I said like we always talked about. We weren't going to.
We're not supposed to say and
Sorry. Did it again. So Holt qualified this year in 125C junior, I think is what the class is technically called. 2-stroke class, whatever you want to call it. Kid's a great rider. He finished 29th, 30 something. I don't have the result.
Which is not terrible.
Oh no, not knocking it at all. It's dude, I was so happy for Holt.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is he comes home now and he's got to step into B class when I don't think he is. I'm not going to say mature enough, but like his body is still a child. Like he's not filled out like and let's be honest, that B class is grown ass men. Like
that B class is, look, that's why I didn't ride B long. I rode B class for like maybe 6 months. And I was like, there's no point. So go to A and try to make $1. You know what I mean?
If you're a local racer, you
and that's what I was. I wasn't trying to pursue nothing.
Yeah. If you're a local rider, get to A as fast as you can, because what do you want to do?
Safely and make sure skill level is somewhat to par.
yeah, agree with that. But try to get there as fast as you can, because there's nothing for you. There's nothing for you in B class in my mind.
Not local. No.
At a local level, there's nothing there for you to play. But I mean, like with him having to go straight to B class when he's kind of forced to, and I don't. That's the rule I don't agree with. I think there should be a different threshold for C in regards to maybe the top 10 in that C class in that particular, and because that 125 C class is a lot of younger kids. They're just getting on big bikes. It's their first year on big bikes, that sort of thing. So the rule's not perfect in my mind. I mean, the B class has a thing. I think in B class you can, as long as you don't finish in the top 5 or top 10, you can come back. And you can also come back if you're not old enough to run A class. Mm-hmm. You can actually come back. I think Romano is only 14 maybe, and he come back a second year.
Right.
And it's just that's a weird age. 14, 15, 13, 14, 15, when you're transitioning into big bikes, it's a weird age. You're hitting puberty. Some people grow 3 foot overnight, and they're grown ass men. And then some people don't right away, and then like they're 14 years old, and I'm calling Dayton Lowry out here, buddy. He's a runt. He's still a little guy, He's think about Dayton. If Dayton was to hop on a 125, qualify in 125C, Dayton at his little bitty self, he had to go straight to B class. And I don't think he's physically and I'm going to throw this out there too. I think the mentally being ready is more important than the physical sometimes. That it's hard. That class is hard.
Well, you go to C class, you do good or whatever. You're kind of on a cloud nine. You're on your high horse a little bit. B class is a soul crusher if you're not prepared for it. Yeah, me too. That's what I'm saying. If you're not prepared for it, so that's one topic from transitioning CB. Another thing is if you are a local rider, because I've watched my dad do this, is when he pulls you to the side and says, "Hey, at the end of the series, you're moving up." A lot of people are like, "Okay, cool, I get it, whatever." And then of course you got your son that take offense to it. Whatever. In my eyes, take it as a compliment. If you're being told you're too fast for that class and you need to move up, okay, you're doing something right. You've progressed.
Yeah. Okay. Here, let me ask you a question on that. Since you've seen your dad do that or whatever, at what point do you do that? Because you come to, if a promoter came to me and I would say I was riding B class and I was a local rider, but I had never tried for Loretta's or done anything, at a big national event, and a promoter comes to me and says, "Hey, you need to get out of this B class. You need to go to A class." I would tell him no. I'd be like, what's the threshold on that?
I have not seen him do that
from B to
B.
Okay.
Because, the best of my knowledge, B class is unlimited. You can run B class the rest of your life.
Yes. Yep.
Right. We're putting Loretta's to the side.
Putting the Loretta's to the side.
You can run B class the rest of your life.
No. On AMA, you have RPV, rider perform. I don't even know what it stands for. But if you accrue enough AMA points, now here's the kicker: it's got to be an AMA sanctioned race, or you're not going to accrue any points. Now, as far as a local rider standpoint, you can run B for the rest of your life.
So this particular question you asked me, I'm strictly staying local, non-AMA. So I've seen Dad do it with D and C riders.
And I agree. I agree with that.
It's the point where the guy he's not only winning every race, but he's lapping half the field or half tracking, or it's just obvious. This is obvious. A, they're sandbagging, or B, they have progressed that much. They just advanced quicker than the rest of the field, right?
Yeah.
Because I actually watched him, my buddy Kurt McFarland. I'm calling you out, buddy. How you doing? I actually watched him, my dad, tell him, "Hey, you got 2 more races left in this Arena Cross series. When it's done, by the time you go outdoor, you're moving up to C." You know what his response was? "Holy cow, that's awesome." Because to him, it was a compliment that he had gotten that much faster, that he had progressed. You know what I mean?
Was that like
I said? Yeah, I'm turning my phone off. Sorry. I forgot to turn on silent. But anyways, so I've only seen him do it with C and D riders. C class is honestly the ones that kind of take offense to it, because some guys have the sandbagging mentality, or, "Hey, you're ruining my run for Loretta's," whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always that little excuse. But now I have seen C guys take compliments and take it and, "Okay, yeah, we moved up," or whatever.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong.
No, there's not.
I think this is where I have an issue with the A and B thing, and the big, because like we talked last week on this part 1, there's a difference between local C and amateur national C, or whatever you want to call it.
There's a difference between local and national A, B, and C.
Exactly. But my thing is and this may be from a promoter standpoint, but to me, and I'm going to call myself out on this, because I'm never going to run A, B, C, D, any of that crap at nationals anymore. I'm in vet class now. So I used to run A class locally, and I would drop myself right back down to B when it comes, because that's technically my category I fit in. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let me get this right. I was a mid pack B rider at bigger races. But at home, when I'm racing Southern Supercross Series and I'm winning every weekend, or I'm battling with people that are 3 or 4 years older than me in the pro class, like I'm 15 years old, 16 years old, I'm running around pro class because the B class had nothing for me. Like, oh, I went to get a trophy against, you know, Satchmo Joe over there that brought his bike out of the woods and signed up for, like, there was nothing for me. So I just went straight to A. And, when I got to big races, nobody looked, nobody cared. So, I mean, I think there should be some kind of rule or something in place where you can do that. Like something you can go backwards, because
Because legally, you never have been able to do that anywhere.
I
AMA,
know,
non-AMA.
I know.
What you did, I mean, that's cringeworthy. You know what I mean? You did it, whatever. I didn't.
But
Obviously, I couldn't either.
what from your standpoint, what am I supposed to do? If I'm too fast to run with I mean, what am I supposed to do? Go out there and get my $2 trophy every time and just half track the field, or do I move up and challenge myself? But realistically, I'm going in A. I would have been 15, 16 years old running an A class at a national with Mike Alessi or Ryan Villapoto or somebody like that.
I
That
hate to say it.
literally,
I hate to say this, but that's what I had to do. That's what I did. I moved up to A class 6 months after I turned 16. Rode A class locally for a couple of years. Started doing some qualifiers and stuff. Dean Wilson, you
Dean
know,
smoked me too.
oh yeah. Anyways,
But think about,
people like him
this.
and people like Blake Baggett, and I even had to race Malcolm Stewart a couple of times. Like I had to race some guys, but that brings back to the conversation that, like you said, or I think it was last week we talked about that A and B and national level. There's really no difference.
There's not at the front. There's
Okay,
not.
but
I don't think there is at the front. Now, like I said, if I can't go, and I couldn't. I never even got close in B class to making Loretta's, right? Areas and stuff I run against some good dudes. Me and Heath have had some battles out back in the day. We didn't even know each other back then. And just looking at the results, going back, like, oh, I beat Heath. Oh, he beat me this week. Oh, he, going back and forth the results, and people like uh Alex Ray raced with him. I'm gonna pump this up. I beat a Supercross rider one time. But like I didn't compete for wins. I didn't compete for. I didn't. Like I said, never even got close to Loretta's. I think my best finish at a regional was 16th. Never even got close in the B class. But if I run B class at Southern Supercross or whatever, I literally there was nothing to challenge me. There was nothing to push me
so I
unless
mean,
certain people showed up. Which
well, yeah, but I mean, I've been in the same scenario before. When I rode B class, I was, too fast that weekend or whatever. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I rode qualifiers in B and A. There was no difference. There just wasn't. It was harder for either one. It was just as hard for either one. So to answer your question, you stay in B and you roll with the punches. You deal with whatever was served to you, or I hate to say man up, but you man up, move to A class, and roll on. I mean that's my opinion. That's my thoughts coming from different angles. You know what I mean?
yeah, everybody
What
has
you've
their own
done,
story.
like we talked about, once you make it to Loretta's, you're not supposed to try C class. You know how many people I know that made Loretta's in 50s and 65 class and still rode C class? A
Oh yeah,
ton.
yeah,
I
100%.
mean, you know what I mean? It's the monitoring system. Obviously, if you're not on radar, you obviously get away with a little more, right? Whatever. I was always under the radar, especially local, and I couldn't help that. I couldn't help my dad wanted to pursue promoting races and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That was his decision, not mine. Whatever. So,
yeah,
um, but now this can lead into our next subject of combining. Here recently,
yeah.
tracks combining A and B. I straddle the fence with it. Part of me, I like it because of what you just asked. What do you do when you're that B rider, local, blah blah blah? the other part of me, I don't like it because I've been that A rider at a local race where there was 2 A riders and 1 B rider. What are you supposed to do? Do you split gate? Do you do 2 gate? Do you put him with somebody else? No. 99% of the time, you're running your 2 A riders and your 1 B rider together. Now,
B rider wrecks somebody.
well, and that happened to me.
Yeah.
I got taken out by a B rider with me and one other A rider. Did it really matter? Theoretically, no, because homeboy was out in front of me, and I wasn't gonna beat him that race. I just wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it didn't change the result, but it did. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because what if that leader would have wrecked or fell over, and I did catch him, pass him, whatever.
Yeah, hypothetical. Yeah.
So this new to me, it's new. This AB All Star, AB Shootout, combining A and B. What is it? They're A riders get the cash money, but B riders have to receive a gift card. Is that right?
The way I understood it, yeah. The way I know, because I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to protect them. They're not technically pro, and it's
right.
fine. But I'm gonna look at it as another angle from a spectator's point of view. I like seeing your which he's not there yet, but it's going to happen this year. Landon Hart's and your Michael McLean's, B riders racing against your pros, Jordan, Bugsy, Trevor Dunn. From a spectator standpoint,
spectator view, I'm just as guilty as that myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I say I'm 50-50 with this, because on a spectator view, like you said, yeah, it's exciting. On the rider standpoint, it's kind of whatever. So that also leads into the conversations that I've had. And look, this conversation is beating a dead horse. Is payout, pro rider turnout. That's beating a dead horse. That has been a conversation since the beginning of time. Okay, it just has been. I don't care what you say, who you are, whatever. I'm not knocking. I'm not picking on nobody by no means. I'm not coming on this podcast to talk and nobody have a say so, whatever. But because I actually did talk to my dad about this the other night, because I want to know back in the day to now, what's the difference? Well, here's your prime example. If we solely focused on pro riders, like if we counted on pro riders to make our race and to, make the money, make the race, whatever, then why has PJ1, Amsel, Maxis, and who's your intercrosses tanked? Because they focused only on pro riders, right? So, yeah, they would have 15, 16, 20 pro riders show up, plus give or take, whatever. But if you go back and watch some of them races and you look in the stands and they've got 500 people in there, who's making money? The rider, and that's it. But there comes to a point where the promoter or whoever is putting that race on solely for pro riders, there's a reason they all tanked. There's a reason they don't last long.
Yeah. So
because, like you said earlier, our 50 class, especially, and I'm just using our arena cross as an example because that's what we've been main part of the last few years. Mm-hmm. But when we have 25 to 30 kids in the 50 class, and we've got how many, 4 or 5 50 classes, roughly? Something like that. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know.
So they're compare the numbers. That's all I'm saying. Compare the numbers.
I get it from a money-making standpoint. But here's my thing. Okay, did you have opportunity to? You didn't attend the Backyard Brawl. Were you able to go to that 2 years ago?
No.
All right, so if we're gonna rehash this, the Backyard Brawl, I believe it was headed up by Steve Hollingsworth, Trevor Dunn, some other guys. I'm not going to get into that whole deal there, but it was held at McClarty's. And
oh wait, I'm sorry. Yes, I was there. I apologize. When
forgot big pro race.
I forgot what they called it. That's what it was called.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yes,
Backyard Brawl. So
yes, I was there.
And I talked with Steve on the phone yesterday for probably a good hour. He tossed some ideas around to me, and I it kind of got my head churning or whatever, thinking about these pro payouts, whatever. Typically, most of the payouts are 100% payback, whatever, 100%. So I know in the Arena Cross we had one of those big races. There was not a lot of pros still not show up. I think it just maybe they just
It was
don't
a
like.
dash for cash that we put together for the last Coleman race.
Yeah. So and don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna hate on that race, whatever. But I think if that race was held at Priceville, I think it draws the pros just because of the bigger arena.
No, Priceville has always. I'm not going to say always. Within the last X amount of years,
Yeah,
5, 6, 7, 8 years, Priceville has drawn a better pro entry class than
yeah,
we have at Coleman. Yes, the arena at Coleman's small,
yeah.
right?
That's just
But
nature of the beast.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go on off left field about back in the day. But
yeah.
back in the day when we had 10 to 15 of us in Coleman versus
I remember,
anywhere
dude.
else.
I
You
remember,
know,
dude. Yeah,
but
I was a
times are
Coleman.
different. I'm not getting into all that.
Yeah,
But no, you are right. Priceville has and did draw better pros than we did.
yeah.
Track layout, track size, design, whatever
Just
location,
nature of the
whatever it may
beast.
be.
Nature
Yeah.
of it. So back to my point with the brawl race or whatever. And it got me thinking, how do we get these pro riders in here? Because let me tell you, that race was absolutely packed to the gills. There was I want to say 1,000 plus people lining the fence, and that's crazy for a local race. Lining the fence to watch this race go down. We had Mason Gonzalez, Heath Harrison, Marshall Welton, Trevor, and all them. Our local guys hopping in with these guys. Marshall Welton's finishing the top 10 in the pros right now. Like, dude's a beast. He ended up winning, I think. Mason Gonzalez got second. Heath got third.
Was he
Something like that.
the dude that won? Was he the dude on the Cowie?
Yes, he's on a
Yeah.
Suzuki now. He's riding for Help, I think, right now, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he was rolling that day. I remember.
He was rolling. Okay, so, but we offered, or I say we, the promoters or whatever, whoever offered up a huge purse that one time. So my theory on this whole pros getting pros to your track, and I think it does enhance the spectator experience, and I think there's more people will show up if I think if we had a strong pro class and a strong 50 class, that's our two main goals. But my idea behind it with these series is, like, we had the big race at McClarty, and we all know what happened with that. But why not have 2 to 3 races a year like that? It's a combined series race that has these huge payouts. And don't tell me the sponsor money is not there. You can sell. And Steve was like, you can sell the signs on the edge of the track. McClarty's has a fence. Holy crap, McClarty's has a fence. Let's sell signage right here. Let's sell this. Let's bring in vendors and obviously sell them spots to come in. There's money to be had for these payouts. And me personally, this is my own personal view on this, this is how we increase the pro numbers. It's money. It's money. They don't want to race for chopped liver. 100% payback with 2 riders. What does that get you? $60? And
If that.
So like that's, I mean, like I said, that's not going to keep the pros in the series in Alabama every single time. But hey, 2 to 3 times a year, let's have these money runs, 5,000 for first, 3 or whatever, whatever the number could be. Then that goes back to marketing. That race was marketed brilliantly. We had so many people there, absolutely so many people there. Tracks, step up your marketing, step up your payouts, and it doesn't have to come out of your pocket. There's a sponsorship way. There's ways to get that money. Hey, come on this podcast. I'm calling out you track owners. Come on this podcast. Talk with us.
We are your advertisement now.
Yeah, we're your advertisement. I mean, like I said, hey, I'm not tooting our horn like you say. We got 1,000 views, bro.
I'm not totally disagreeing with anything you just said, by no means. I do think that it has a lot to do with that perfect timing, that
Great.
weekend,
Yeah, that
the
was.
weather.
Yeah.
Are you the only race that weekend? Is there anything else going on? Like McClarty's race earlier this year, he was the only race that I knew of in the tri-state area. Not to mention, like you said, double series, first outdoor race of the season. Nobody else is doing anything. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What else do people have to do? People have been cooped up all winter. They're ready to get outside. They're ready to go race.
Yeah.
Nobody, not knocking Hugh by no means, nobody will have that type of race like the rest of that year. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's been proven because by that time you got qualifiers, you got regionals, you got other series kicking up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Vacations, ball sports like we do. You know, there's so many different things. So that backyard brawl race, like you said, the sponsorship money obviously was there. The marketing was there. Why did it do good? My honest opinion was the location, the track, the promoter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All that plays an effect. I don't think you would have that type of turnout or that type of race at Joe Blow's MX track in his backyard, obviously, right? So there's just so many different factors that play into turnout, pros, all the other riders, the money, everything. You know what I mean? There's just so many different factors, timing, weather, just everything.
Hey, let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask you something personal here. You ever get any show up money?
Nope.
Never?
We had never gave out show up money.
No. I didn't say gave out. You ever got any?
Me personally?
Yes.
Not. I'm gonna say no because it wasn't a deal where it was like, "Hey, thanks for showing up. Here's you $100." Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It was more of it might have been me and one other guy racing that A class or whatever, and the promoter gave us a little extra.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've never had the I walked up after the end of the race or the beginning of the race and the promoter's like, "Here's your $100. Thanks for showing up." No,
Yes.
I never
I never got it like that, but I did have some times where they would call and be like, "Hey, we're trying to have a bigger A class race this time. You know, what would it take to get you here? You know, free."
Well, I've had in the past. I've had you know, hey, you coming this weekend, right? You coming to race? You coming to hang out? It wasn't, hey, I need you, or hey, I'm trying to do this and that. It was just, hey, you coming this weekend, right? Heck yeah, I'm coming. You know, I ain't got nothing else to do. Yeah, I'm going to race. This is what I do every weekend. But no, I've never received the show up money and all that.
I know a few guys that have. Of course, they were faster than me, obviously, but I know.
Yeah, I know a couple guys
that have. And I don't know that necessarily is a bad thing every now and then. You know, I don't think that's necessarily bad. I think that sometimes, you know, you need that extra little, hey, look, hey, we'll toss you some free entries and $100 or something. Come on out here, throw down some heaters, race with our local guys. Come on. I just wondered if I was the only one. Like I said, I have not experienced, hey, I'll give you $500 to show up here. But I mean, I have gotten called and say, hey, you know, come out here and race with us. We'll take care of you, sort of things.
Well, yeah. And, you know, you think it's not 100% bad. I kind of sit on the fence for that because there's two ways to look at it. If your track's good enough and you're, as a promoter, you're likable enough, you shouldn't have to do that.
I agree.
Right?
I can agree.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
To amp up the upcoming event, race, whatever.
Like,
I get it.
Like, hey, if let's just use somebody local that's say semi big. Hey, Heath Harrison, come out here and race with us or whatever. You know, we'll toss you a little freebie or whatever. And then, hey, maybe advertise that. Hey, Phoenix Honda mechanic head, whatever Heath's title is now. Other than whole shot badass. I mean, he's going to be here, you know, racing. Come race Heath Harrison. You know, promotion. This is promotion. This is marketing. This is for me as someone. I want to know that there's somebody there that's going to make me give everything I got.
Let me ask let me ask you a personal question real quick. The backyard brawl race. Do you know personally if anybody was handed show up money?
I don't personally know that.
Because what I'm getting at is that race didn't appear that you had to.
I can find out. I
Well,
can find out, but
I'm just saying
on
if you
hand,
go
I don't
back,
know personally.
if you were there at that race, and if you go back and think about that race with the advertisement, the marketing, how Steve and Hugh did everything, my opinion, I didn't think that was a necessary thing to do. They showed up because of the purse and the money run and all that.
If I could say this, one small piece, I guess. If anybody got any, it would have been Marshall or Heath. I think
I
Mason.
mean,
Mason
I could see that, but
Mason. I would say Mason would be clumped into that, but Jake Butler was mechanicking for Mason at that time. And I think it was just like, hey man, they're running a money race over here. And I'm not saying he didn't, but I'd say if two people did, it would have been the other two because that, like I say, for their name, for their, you know what I'm saying.
But at the same time, the reason I don't think they did because no names were advertised pro wise who was showing up.
Correct. And like I said, that was what I just said was completely hypothetical. It was saying if anyone did, I would think it would have been those two based on their accomplishments, how big a name they are in the industry or whatever. Not saying they did at all. Like, so don't nobody take that as why are they giving? You know, I know how people are. But yeah, that's I think that we could do more. We could do more marketing for our pro riders. We could do more promotion for our pro riders, but our pro riders, like we both know, they don't pay the bills for our promoters and track.
That's the only point that I've tried getting across over the years because once again, the whole pro payout blah blah is beating a dead horse, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't. I ain't gonna say it doesn't matter. It does matter, but to an extent, people are gonna show up whenever wherever they want to show up. They're gonna go race wherever they want to go race. Doesn't matter whose track, whatever. It all depends what they got going on, what they have in plans. I mean, I mean, let's just say this. I guess theoretically speaking, if your entire series, so you got 5 tracks in the series, if all 5 tracks in the entire series advertised every single race was 500% payback for pro class, yeah, you're probably going to average more than the 2 pro riders that show up. Yeah. But who in their right mind is going to do that? Who can afford that? None. Not around here.
So I know we beat this dead horse with this pro thing out the wazoo, and I know we're going to get short on time on this last topic, but we got to talk about this week's whatever you want to call it, the last week's drama.
By the way, thank you, Facebook, for allowing us to have more subjects to add and topics to talk about this week. Because honestly, we had a completely different topic to do this week. But thanks to Facebook, we swapped it.
Yeah. And before we get into this, I want to say something. I'm going to sound really contradicting on my views when I go to talk about this because I'm not on a side. I'm not on a side of other than. Well, we'll get into that part, but I'm not on any particular side because I see both sides of it. So I just want to throw this out there before I have 90,000 people screaming on my Facebook. I've already had somebody get mad over a Suzuki comment over there earlier on another post. Whatever.
We don't need Facebook shame Joel here.
Sorry.
We need podcast shame Joel.
It might come out. I'm just saying anything we say on here is our personal views, probably in a way.
Opinions, thoughts, views, yeah.
So don't hold. You can listen. Everybody knows I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care. It's a drop in my bucket. If you usually I have a no filter in between. Either you hate me or you like me. There's no in between. I'm okay with it. Either one. So whatever I say on this next 20 minutes or whatever we got left on here.
We got 20 minutes. Yeah. By the way, we're going to try to keep this at the hour mark. So we're 40 minutes in. In 20 minutes, we got to cut it. We got to try it. We got to cut it.
Might run over. But anyway, so let's hop into this. All right. So this weekend was scheduled for round 8. I want to say 8.
9. I thought 9. I think it's 9.
Maybe I don't know. Either way, round 8, round 9, whatever you want. At McClarty MX, I believe it was Tuesday or Wednesday.
Wednesday. I think it was actually. It was Wednesday or Thursday when are you talking about when he canceled?
Yeah, when he canceled. I think it was Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it was Wednesday.
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay, so Hugh I always want to call him Hugh McClarty. Hugh Mosley, owner of McClarty MX, decided to not have his race, cancel his race due to, good weather or bad weather pending, we don't know the full details, but I'll get into this part right away. I know Hugh had a lot of rain, and I don't think people realize that the day of the race sometimes doesn't mean everything. And I want to read this, and I'm calling them both out too right now. Hugh, you didn't answer my text message. I texted you over 2.5 hours ago. Didn't answer my text message. And the other person really involved in this was Hunter Taylor. I know he's going to be listening. He's a fan of the show. He's going to be listening. I'm going to call him out a little bit here. He wouldn't come on. I reached out to both. And like I said, I'm not on either side. I really respect and like both of those guys. But neither one Hugh wouldn't text me back, and Hunter wouldn't. He said, no, I'm done with that. I'm not going to, and hey, no pressure, whatever, but we're going to talk about you a little bit on here. So Hugh posted or reposted Hunter's post, and Hunter's post was like, I hate for Alabama to have a race on a beat up muddy track. Some of us need that, but guess we can't get that in Alabama motocross, which is why we skipped this janky series. Some of y'all track owners need to go to a race outside of Bama. Back to Monster we go. They gonna ride. All right. Well, this post blows up. You seen it. You commented. I commented. Of course, holy crap. Shitstorm happened, right? So Hugh has this long reply, and I'm not going to read the whole entire thing. I'm just going to read the last little bit of it. It's got 101 likes on it so far, so most of you probably have already seen it. And then we're going to get into why he chose this and why I'm going to tell you why I could be on both sides. So anyway, in December, I made a business decision. This is from Hugh on the McClarty MX Facebook page. In December, I made a business decision to schedule a race. And September 8th, I decided to cancel my grassroots local series race that has no relevance or significance to a rider on the national level for whatever reasons I chose. But it didn't cost anybody a dime, nor 1 ounce of sweat but me. If you don't like me, my decisions, or my track, please don't ever come back. We'll all be happier for it. Thoughts? Yikes on both sides. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's tough, man, because I've known Hugh for a long time. He's been great to me and my family. He's super nice guy, super great track owner. Is he perfect? No. Does he have a perfect track? No. Close, my opinion, because I really like it. Anyways, Hunter, his son and my son and your son, they all race together. Clearly, his son's faster. Whatever. I don't care. Motocross is my son's secondary sport. This is our fun sport. This is the hangout sport. You know what I mean? So I've talked to Hunter, I guess, the last 3 years since our kids have been racing together. Mm-hmm. Me and Hunter see each other at the track. We hang out. We talk. We laugh. We cut up. We pick on each other. I hate I'm going to start. I hate seeing this. I'm not saying just because it's Facebook. I just hate seeing this in general on two people that I like and respect, because it puts, I'm not going to say everybody, but it can put you in a tough spot. It can put you in a little pickle sometimes. And like you said, not picking sides, not siding with either one, being a fence rider, whatever. It is tough. I don't like seeing it. Now, does everybody have little arguments, debacles here and there? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I'm not a fan of this type. I'm not. Did I comment on some things? Yeah, mostly I was picking on Hunter. I was jabbing at him. But when I realized how serious it was getting, I backed away. I backed off because, for one, I don't have a dog in this fight, and for two, I'm just going to be honest. We had planned on going to Hughes race.
Yeah.
When we found out it when we found hang on when we found out it canceled, I was bummed, but at the same time, it had no effect on me. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, I wanted to go ride. Ripton wanted to go race. Like, we were looking forward to it. We were excited for it. Now, I could have just as easily loaded up and went to Dodge City like I told myself I was going to do. Sorry, Cam. I'm slacking. But anyways,
where was you, buddy?
Well, we had kind of already made other plans after we found out Hughes race was canceled. So I really didn't think about it till the last minute. So I don't like it. That's why you hardly ever see me comment on Facebook on stuff like this, because I like everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I've just always gotten along with most everybody, and I hate seeing that, especially in our local race environment, because we don't need that. I'm just going to say it. We don't need that kind of arguments and debacles with what seems like some of our races and series are struggling as is. We don't need that kind of crap. We need. I know I sound like a biddy, but we need positiveness. All right, but you can't please everyone. You're not going to. Never have. Never will. If you would have had the race and we showed up Saturday and the track was perfect, right? Whoop-de-doo. Okay. But what if we would have showed up and the bottom did fall out and the storm came through and the race was canceled as you were there? Yeah. Everything's unloaded. Everything's gassed up. You ready to go. Boom. Storm comes, bottom falls out. Hey, we're canceled. I would have been upset then, because now I got to load everything back up, go home, nothing happened. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, did Hugh call it too soon? My opinion, yes. But at the same time, there was, like he said, there was no dime spent. There was no effect on me, him doing that. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Here's my thing about it. Listen, I'm on both sides, and this is the only thing Hunter said that pissed me off. It says, "Is there any fast kids on this post?" That pissed me off.
Yeah, I didn't like that, Hunter. Listen, I didn't like that, dude.
Yeah, I didn't like that either, because
Hunter, I still like you. We're cool. But I do get what he was trying to. It probably didn't come out the way we're reading it as well, but I didn't like that.
Yeah, I didn't either. Because I mean, here I am sitting like, and then he threw my kid out there, which pissed me off. But not the speed, yada yada, to run the rest. Listen, here's the deal. We were allowed to practice as an alternate. We showed we belonged. That's what pissed me off. Now, which, I mean, hey, we didn't make it, cool, whatever. Didn't get to ride. But there's other kids like Trevor Capps. He finished 7th in the nation. And you're sitting here saying there's no fast kids on this post. And I just seen Kenzie Mercado's dad just posted on there. I just haven't seen. She's fast as hell girl. I mean, like, super fast. Like, that bothered me a little. That pissed me off a little bit. But listen, I'm not completely, I get it. Like, for me, my kid is a borderline kid. Like, he's locally, he's one of the fastest, but when you get to that next level, he struggles. He's an in-betweener. We, as a rider and as a mini dad, yes, we need those mud motos. We need that. But here's the thing. As a business, Hugh doesn't have that race. He doesn't lose thousands of dollars. As a dad, I'm not there to justify his business decision and the money that he had already spent, because he already lost a little bit, obviously. Like, you can't tell me that Hugh hadn't invested some of his time, sweat, and money already in that race. But to go on this rant bashing him, like, come on, Hunter, man, you know better than that. Like, and at the same time, we need his rider. We need Kaysen. We need him as a participant to show that our series can put out. And he posted on there like, hey, we're not this series made. We're Monster Mountain made. I hate to tell you, buddy, you're this series made. Like, Yeah, he's starting to train at Monster, all that crap. Yeah, I love it. I love it. He's putting in work. He's doing work with Jordan down there, doing work. But guess what? Kaysen got fast because he was racing with that series with I'm gonna throw him out there. Braxton was racing those series too, and him and Braxton pushed each other just like Brock and Trevor in the 4 to 6 class. Now they push each other. You need that one other rider that may be racing that series to make you better. So don't dodge competition, which I'm not saying they don't, because Kaysen races the best. I mean, I get it, but like, don't call out these other kids out there that like your son. He literally rides as his second sport, and he's a good rider. Think if he put in the same amount of time as his primary sport, who knows what he could be. Don't call out all these other kids that don't do what, like, that aren't training full time, that aren't like don't do that, man. Like we don't like that. I mean, people are all over him. I get it. People are just here for the comments, and most of these comments are positive towards you. And like I said, from my standpoint, as a moto dad, we, as a borderline fast kid, we need that environment. But guess what? I'm not going to fault a track owner for calling something that would save him $1. I can't do that. As a person that owns a business as well, I can't fault someone else's business decisions.
Well, also, who's to say it wasn't a personal reason other than just weather? I don't know what the actual reason.
It shouldn't matter. If Hugh says if Hugh says it's his, listen, I'm not dropping an F-bomb like I want to right now, but it's Hugh's. You know what? Track. It's his. Like, if he wants to go out there and stand naked on Mount McClarty and do damn cartwheels, I don't care what he does. It's his track. Like, let him make those calls. And if he don't feel like he can personally put on the best race possible for his riders, and let me tell you, and here's another point too with that. His riders aren't all Kaysen Taylors, aren't all Braxton Hallbrooks, all aren't Brock. Like, you know what I'm saying, Brock.
Well, they're people like me.
They're people like you guys that come in and the 90% of his 95% of his riders don't give two rats ass about going to Loretta's, going to Minio's, going to Ponca. They don't care. They want to have fun with their family on Saturday. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't enjoy digging out mud out of my son's ass crack. I don't enjoy that. I don't like it. It burns up clutches. Listen, the last mud race I ran cost me $3,000. $3,000. I completely fried a motorcycle. I broke everything I possibly could. I tried to put it all back together in a hurry, broke it again. Like, I was in panic mode. By the time I spent money to get there and mud race and throw parts at this to get it back to new, I spent $3,000. I don't enjoy that. And if as a business owner you call the race, I'm behind you on that. This is where I have to, and it doesn't matter who the business owner was. Everybody knows I respect you and I respect his track. I don't care if it's Troy Miller, Keith Kingsfield, Billy Raines. I don't care who it is. You call a race. There's 19 million other tracks in America. Go find one. What is it? Find a tit 22 or whatever Gary said. I don't even know. Like, find somewhere else to ride. It's not the end of the world that a race is canceled.
And guess what happened? Everybody found somewhere else to go ride.
We did. We went to Dodge City, enjoyed it, had a great time.
I'm saying, like,
Monster was open. Like,
I'm not calling Hunter out specifically.
I did. I love you, man.
Well, I'm just saying, like, what I'm about to say. I'm not pointing my finger at him. Yeah. But I have seen where they act like it wrecks their whole weekend, but yet they still load it up and go ride somewhere else.
Yep.
So another thing that I don't think a lot of people think or look at nowadays, and I'm not perfect by no means, I try to be as positive of a person as I can be, because at one time in my life I was a negative person. It sucked. I tried to find the positive in things. So on my side, I look at Hugh's race being canceled as there's a good reason. We weren't supposed to race there this weekend. Whether it be messed up bike, messed up yourself, car breakdown, whatever the scenario. that's how I look at some things. Sometimes it wasn't meant for us to be there this weekend. Whatever, cool.
I can concur with that. I'm not that person. I like, damn, I wanted to go. Like, damn it. But you know what? We raced Friday night at a little local fair track, or it means nothing or whatever. Had a blast. Saturday morning, got up. Man, I watched Alabama almost lose to Texas. I'm calling all you Alabama people out.
So you made a good day out of it.
I made a good day out of it. Next day, I went and rode Dodge City. I took my son to ride Dodge City. There's always something you can do, and I'll say Hunter again. Their life revolves around motorcycles, and I totally respect that.
Nothing wrong with that, because at one time mine did too.
Yeah, all of ours have at some point in time.
Yeah.
Ours still does for a lot of the most part, but there's always something you can do, spending time with your family, to not necessarily that equals the time you spend at a motocross track in most of our eyes, but calling out a track owner about how we got a janky ass series or whatever, we don't need that right now. If you think you've got a solution, go to that track owner in private. I guarantee you they'll talk to you. I mean, they'll talk to you about something. Let's find a constructive way to do it. Which, I mean, hey, you want to blow them out on Facebook? It gives us more content on there. I mean, whatever. Like I'm sure.
Well, it's free country. You can, to an extent, you can say what you want, but going on Facebook and doing what you're doing, whatever. I mean, nobody can stop you. Just
I'm guilty. Don't say
well, yeah, I know, and I try to come from the promoter side. I know that because it's happened before, is when somebody degrades you, your family, your track, whatever.
Yeah,
it's a crappy feeling. You know what I mean? Like, we're not necessarily out to please everybody or try to, because you can't. It's impossible. But something like that, I know if this would have been me and my family, I would be pretty irate about it. I'm not going to lie, but that's why I don't like it. That's why I don't like seeing it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, like I said, I really wanted one of them to come on tonight. I really thought that.
Hugh's old school. He ain't coming on.
Yeah, I know. The thing about Hugh is too, I never would have thought he would have reshared that post. It was like it kind of died down a little bit, and then all of a sudden that post came out, and I was like, "Oh my god, this guy!"
Yeah, I was a little shocked myself.
Hey, something struck a nerve with him, and who's to say what's going on inside of his head? I mean, like he'll probably be mad at me for this podcast or whatever. Hugh's been mad at me on and off. Whatever it is.
Who hasn't been mad at you on and off?
Hey, dude. Hey, me and Hunter started out hating each other. I swear to God, we did. Like, but
Shocker.
hey, like it came full circle, and our kid. You know what happened? Our kids ended up being friends, and it's like we're adults. Hey, we're adults. Let's get over this shit. You know what I'm saying? And that Hugh's been mad at me before. And we share a mutual friend, the Rays, and he's been mad at me. He's told them, and I told him, But here's the thing: like, at the end of the day, I respect the man. He runs a hell of a track. Every time I go there, I try to thank him. Hey, hey, track's awesome today. Like, he doesn't. Now, is he a business? Is he there to try to make money? That's what everybody has got to understand. As riders, you don't make someone's business decisions. Like, he's there to make money. He doesn't do it out of the kindness of his heart. Yeah, he may be a good guy, but he does not race and do practices just because, I like losing money. Let's hold races because I like watching the dirt bikes go jumpy. Like, no. Bottom line, I'm here to make some money while doing something I love. I get it. But
it's a side business.
It's a business. Like, you can't tell me how to run Optimum Power Sports. You can't do it. Like I said, I can't go to Philip and say, "Hey, Philip, Dollar Cycles is not doing what they do to make a successful business." You know what he's going to tell me? Beep. And that's the way it should be. Like, it's his business. If you don't like it, don't support it, but don't go bashing it. Like, I can't deal with that. I know we're getting close to our time limit this week.
We're on the hour, exactly on the hour mark, but You know that
Wrap
that's
it up.
that's for any business. I mean, just real quick, doesn't matter if it's food, service, sales. That's any business. I mean, I've never been the one to really go online and back. For a quick example, my truck busted the back glass, had to have a new one put in. The company who did it, it leaked. They screwed it up. They came back to fix it, made it worse. It was a huge, big ordeal.
Yeah.
But I didn't go on Facebook and just plaster and blast them because what good does it do? Nothing. It doesn't do anything. The only thing it does is get attention.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I'll go on there and bash a person personally, but like their business is their income. Like I mean, like their business is how they put a roof over their family's head. You want to tell Shane Jewell he's a piece of shit? You call me and tell me you posted on Facebook. I'll laugh at you and don't care, and I'll comment with you. And but be a man about it and post me. You know, comment me about it, whatever. You know, but a business, I feel like businesses are off limits unless they personally do something to you that is literally affecting you as a person or affects your family in a degrading way.
Yeah.
That other than that, stay off people's businesses and how they make their income. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that. Guys, listen, Hugh, Hunter, when y'all see this, I know y'all both will watch this. We like you both. Don't take this the wrong way. We plan to see y'all at many more races. We hope I'm not going to say feud. We hope the little spat between y'all
debacle.
Out. Yeah, debacle, anything like that. We hope it gets worked out. And hey, listen, phone lines are always open here. Buffer away. Call us, whatever you want to do. Get on here, explain your side. You know, like I said, I reached out to both of you, but I'm going to say both declined. So if you have, second thoughts about that, come on, let's clear the air.
Well, to them, it's probably wasn't anything they want to make a bigger deal about or even want to talk about. Yeah. They just both wanted to be done with it. That's cool. That's fine. And look, before we get out of here, hey, let's share it, like it, subscribe, view it, help us get them numbers up because, like I said, so far, me and Shane's talked about it. We're highly appreciative of the support we've been getting the last 3 weeks. We're still in the D class with this, and so we appreciate it. We kept this one to roughly an hour, 4 minutes, a lot better than last time. So, once again, guys, all this is local MX. This is our own opinion, thoughts. This gives us something to talk about, and keep it coming. Let us know. Please give us feedback, negative or positive, on YouTube comments, Facebook comments, whatever. Let us know how we're doing, what you like, don't like. We don't care. We need to know. We want to know. So, with that being said, we appreciate it. I'm out.
All right, man. One more thing before we go.
Oh, go ahead.
All them sponsors, support them. All right. All the sponsors that make this show possible, support them. Hey, and anybody wants to come on board.
We forgot about that. Anybody who is interested in sponsorship, get with me or Shane. Obviously, it's a ton of advertisement via all social media plus this.
Yep.
And the more sponsors we get, the further we can go with it and the bigger things we can do. T-shirts, hats, graphics, eventually, stickers,
the whole nine. Man. Giveaways.
Yeah, so for real, I'm glad you said that. I'm actually, Philip, you don't know this yet, but I'm going to get with Philip and see about giving away like a pair of goggles or a T-shirt or something.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hopefully next episode. So you will have to listen to be able to win. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, a little trivia game or something.
Yeah. So,
all right, Jesse, it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed it this week. Hopefully our viewers will. And until next time.
All right. See y'all.
See ya.